we're
can tell
live.
it's Tuesday night. You and I are sitting here in front of the computer.
Yeah, and we've had some requests. So people are like, we love the guests, but we want fewer of them. We want you and Joe to just talk about what's
Things
going
that
on
are
in the
going
city.
on, right? And answer some of the questions that we haven't been able to answer for the last couple of
Because we've
weeks.
had so many questions
Right.
come in, which has been fantastic.
Now, so if you have questions that are left over, please get them in early so we can look at them too, because we may have trouble looking backwards.
Yes, if there's something you're like, I asked this question, I'd love an answer, we didn't get to it, let us know,
Right.
please.
Okay, and we're just going to start into what events are happening this weekend, because there is so many things happening in the next 7 days.
St. Anne's Festival started up today.
Yes.
Over by Central, the high school there.
Yes.
You know, if you don't know where St. Anne's
St. Anne's
is.
Festival is if you're new to town. At St. Anne's School in that neighborhood. So please,
Hard to miss.
It's great. It's like our local fair,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a great thing with family dinners at night and lots of rides and stuff for the kids and auctions and other stuff. So please, how about Lemonade Day on Saturday?
Yeah, very exciting. Great event.
Lemonade Day is there's about 20, there might be more now, 21 or 22 places doing lemonade stands. There's a big project put on by the Doug Terry Group, who are great corporate citizens, and Family and Children's Services is the beneficiary to get more kids to go to camp.
Super important.
I know our fire station, our library, a number of places are being lemonade stands. Go buy, if you see a lemonade stand, buy some lemonade, and all the proceeds, a local hamburger company supplying all the lemonade.
Very good.
And we will raise a great amount of funds to send more kids to camp this year. That's what Lemonade Day is. So Saturday, June 8th, and some places are earlier in the morning, some places are midday. What else is happening Saturday? There's a book launch at the library,
Very
11
exciting.
till 1. Sean James, one of our constables, has written a book about tracks. One of our four-legged constables, a police dog. And so please go see the launch of the book about tracks on at the public library here in St. Thomas, 11 to 1 on Saturday.
Yes. And then also, if you haven't heard, there's Wednesday markets that are happening every month at the Horton Market. So check out the Horton Market Facebook page, and you can see which dates those Wednesday markets are going, as well as, of course,
go to the market on Saturday and ask them, hey,
Yeah.
when's Wednesday market this week? Is it this week? Is it every week? They'll have all those answers for you.
Yeah. And we've got the Chamber Family Picnic for members that's coming up on this Sunday, and that's from 11 to 2 p.m.
Is that at Fanshawe College again this year?
You know what, Joe?
I wish I knew.
Yeah, it was.
Because I'm away this weekend in Calgary, I'm attending the Federation of Canadian Municipalities from Thursday through Sunday, so I'm not here for it this week.
And what's that?
It is a meeting of municipalities across Canada, mayors and such from across Canada, and this is the first time St. Thomas has kind of grown up into the Federation of Canadian Municipalities.
We've grown up
become
now?
a member. Well, we became a member this year, and so along with attending the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, we do that too. But this is something new for us, and I'm representing St. Thomas all weekend.
That's amazing. That's going to be super. Calgary is a great city, especially this time of year.
Yeah, but it seems like a real rush in, do a whole pile of work and rush out. I haven't been to Calgary in a decade, but I suppose there'll be events where we get to see some of Calgary too.
I certainly hope so.
This
I hope
is
you're not
more
just
of a
stuck in a
networking.
hotel room the whole time.
Well, I hope not too. Right?
I hope there'll be some of the tours where you can network and have the tour on the bus, look at the sites.
Right. And it's been a while since I've got to do that. But there we go. I have a couple meetings already set up with CN, with some of the work we're doing with CN.
Fantastic.
And some other mayors who I know will be there.
Well, thank them for that rail crossing that got fixed out on
Centennial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure you'll thank us so much when we start running trains all day across it. We're going to have to figure out how to manage CN, so I'm having some conversations with them, yes.
Yeah. Managing CN, that's hard, I hear.
Oh, yeah, clearly. But we are opening a great deal of a new industrial park at Yarmouth Yards that needs rail in and out, and that's good for a railway, so we're trading some of that stuff. What else do we got going on this week?
Well, I just wanted to follow up on that family picnic. I looked up the address, and it is Fanshawe College. You were right. So, Bill Martin Parkway.
Great. Please share that with Stephanie.
I will. I will. I will. All right. We've got a quick question in here from Brett Longfield.
Right.
He says, what is the mayor's agenda at the FCM conference in Calgary?
Well, exactly that. It's more of a networking thing, but to share some of the great things we've been doing here in St. Thomas in the series of housing, special constables, those types of things that we've been doing here, and certainly the industrial growth in St. Thomas, but also to, as I said, meet with CN on some local issues here because we're out there together with them. And Josh Morgan, the mayor of London, is also going to be there, and he's the new big city mayors now. We're not part of the big cities, but because Josh is there, Josh and I will be spending some time conversing about Southern Ontario and the new mix in Southern Ontario and how we can all work together.
You should ask him if he's willing to come on the show sometime.
Well, I will, because we did talk about that, and so I think he'd be happy to come on.
That'd be amazing. I should also mention there's a concert at the Quaker Meeting House in Sparta on June 8th as well, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And tickets are only $25. The artist is Jennifer Castle.
I saw that there was a whole act and right. It's a fundraiser, obviously, to help.
All the proceeds are going to go to the meeting house to help with maintenance, because as you know, it's getting more and more expensive, especially insurance is like quadrupled.
Oh yes, yeah.
For the places almost anywhere. Anyway, it's going to be a great event. There's more details on the Facebook page for Established Media.
An announcement of free ice cream at the family picnic. See, I'm away. And
Whoa.
Sure.
Now, is that Icebox that's providing the free ice cream?
Yes, it is.
Picnic?
That's our friends from Icebox.
Wonderful.
So, save some for Joe. Okay.
So you got to put some in an icebox for Joe when he gets back from Calgary.
It is for members of the St. Thomas and District Chamber of Commerce. It's a family picnic of the Chamber of Commerce. So.
It's a great
business
event.
Celebrating business.
There were bouncy castles last year. I don't know if they're coming back, but I certainly
three-legged races and all of that. All of those
just
things.
An epic adventure
at old right. So perfect.
Well, we've got other lists of things here. Downtown planters are around.
So we're starting to see plants now and we're caught up now on most of the grass cutting across the city, and we've started to plant the downtown gardens and planter boxes, and the hanging baskets look like next week. I saw a picture of them aging in the greenhouse right now, getting their blooms on them. So
it's so good. And with the downtown banners, of course, like, you can call me biased because I helped volunteer to put them up, but I think it looks really great to have those banners up. And they were designed by Sarah Van Pelt at Van Pelt's. Did a fantastic job. And
the downtown's been looking sparkly clean. We've got the green team out working, and I was watching them this week also, and boy, they don't miss much as they're walking around getting litter in the morning. So great job to them, and thank you. And we did have a bit about the DDB in last night's council agenda too.
Yes, very exciting news.
The Economic Development Corporation, Small Business Enterprise Center, Market Tourism St. Thomas Group will now be also taking over the management of the DDB. Now, it doesn't lose the DDB board. You and I will still sit on that, you chairing it. And so that gives the direction to local businesses, but it helps us bring a more of a business approach to the downtown merchants and some of the other things that we can help downtown merchants with.
And what it'll also allow is there'll be someone who's in here 7 days a week at City Hall that you can call whenever you need help. So if you're a business and you've got an issue that's going on, you can just call them directly, and they will be able to liaison with the city.
Don't tell anybody. You always could call the EDC, the Small Business Enterprise Center and ask them questions any day, anyway. But this gives a downtown presence to that also.
Absolutely, and someone who's specifically on call to do that. So it'll be very helpful for the downtown merchants. So I'm very excited that this was a proposal we put together and has been passed. Very exciting. And then in terms of events, there's going to be more events that are going to be organized as a result of that, and having some. And thanks to the city, because the city has added additional funds to the DDB funds to allow
as part
this
of
to happen.
The economic development part of the DDB, which is just it makes sense, and many communities are doing it. We don't want to say we've stolen this idea, but we've certainly modified it in a positive way for St. Thomas.
Yeah, we spent many hours going through the contracts on the shared services agreement. I can speak from my own experience on that one.
To say, we got it just about perfect here in St. Thomas.
Very excited. Very excited about it all. And so, our next DDB meeting will be tomorrow with that in place. And then it's just organizing. They've got to hire somebody, and then it'll shift over. But I'm also excited because it'll be less work on my plate in terms
Well,
of like,
as with every other organization, we're having more difficulty certainly because of the busyness of people attracting more volunteer hours to some of the projects. So if we could, somebody help us guide through some of the projects like Nostalgia Night and Pumpkin Prowl and all of those, then the volunteer help really gets the job done. Light up Talbot, the Christmas tree lighting, those types of events will all still occur. But let's get it to where we're better administrating them. That may be a better way to look at it.
We were also at an event that was just fantastic last week, and it was about the help that's available for youth in our community. They just had a 10-year anniversary, and you were able to speak there a little bit to that. Can you speak a little bit for the audience about the great successes we've had in our community?
Well, certainly youth homelessness is a critical matter. Not like all homelessness is a critical matter, but there's been a special group, the YWCA and the Youth Homelessness Protocol, the Youth for Christ group who does the crisis homelessness, the In Out of the Cold who does also separate youth homeless from the rest.
From the general populace, which didn't used to happen.
No, it was, hey, let's do what we can do. And now we can do it in a better way. So 10 years of the youth homelessness protocol has been in place, and the significant advantages that have happened because of it. Certainly the first thing we do when we have youth homelessness in our community is attempt to make family reunification. Why is someone homeless in the first place? Or is there another piece of the family that we could use for it, that type of thing. So you're So we were talking about Brian and the In Out of the Cold, or the Inn, and that being the master of emergency sheltering and how that affects the youth sheltering protocol and the women's sheltering protocol. So lots of great successes compared to previous years, and previous years, and the previous years. But the youth protocol being in place for 10 years has really been a significant advantage to us here in St. Thomas. So we continue to work towards zero on homelessness, and we will continue to do that. Right? Marcus asked us about help in parks, and we have a Parks and Rec department who does run and for years has run programs in the park, like kids programs and movies in the park and music in the park. And I know Marcus has taken over a number of those things this year at Pinafore Park. But perhaps a good conversation about how we do that in order to put a team together that better deals with events in our parks too. Special events committee has always been there for if it's a larger event. It meets again tomorrow on a number of things that are happening. So
many things.
But there's just so much going on in our community right now.
And things that are coming up we've been asked to talk about, as well as the YWCA summer picnic that's coming up a little bit further down the road. But if you haven't got your ticket, grab your ticket there. It's a wonderful fundraiser for the YWCA, which is, as you were saying, is one of the groups that helps with youth homelessness as well as general homelessness.
And working hard on the Tiny Hope project. We're going to have hopefully something to talk about very shortly with that one. So
I know. So it's exciting whenever we get to talk about it. It's going to be great. Icebox is also on our list to talk about in terms of events they're putting on. You mentioned like the movie nights in the park. They've got a market piece
they're doing. And so Marcus, anytime you're doing, there is events happening, please let Mayor's Update know. We'll certainly share what's happening in our community and how to best share that with the rest of town. We're finding a lot of new people in our community who need to know what's going on, and some of them are getting their news here at Mayor's Update. So let's keep doing that too.
Pollution control plan update. There was a meeting about that last week.
Wednesday, there was a public meeting about the new wastewater treatment plant. Very good turnout, very good. Now down to 3 sites, and truly one is a favorable site.
Mhm.
So now we'll continue to work from an environmental point of view on picking the right one, getting that land, and if that's the case, then we would start the construction on that land. So
Fantastic.
that's kind of where we are now. We've it's pretty easy to figure out where it might have to be and what pieces of land would work for it, but it's not as easy as just snapping your fingers and saying we're doing it. We have to set it up as part of the whole industrial north.
Right. It's exciting.
Yes, it has been busy.
Yeah. All right. So if you're watching and you have other events that we should mention, then please throw them in the comments. We'll bring them up.
We'll
You've
talk
got
about
questions from past episodes we haven't got to yet. Throw them in the comments. We'll get to them.
And this is the time of year where every Tuesday we'll kind of talk about what's coming up in the next week. We know there's some that are happening 3 weeks from now, but we'll try and keep you current right now.
Yes. Brett is saying, what is the favorable site for the new water treatment infrastructure?
I can't tell you the name of the property. I can tell you that it's north of the Kettle Creek, because the Kettle Creek has to be the outlet.
Right.
In the area of Dalewood Road and Water Tower Road.
Yep.
So there's 3 sites there that are all would work, some better than others, and so that's where we currently are as a city in picking that site.
Very good. What other items from council?
Well, we talked about Brian and his deputation. We talked about the seniors picnic in the park. We're offering free transit to seniors that day and modifying one of our routes to make that work. We try to do that. We passed a new sewer bylaw last night. That is, what can affluent be in our community, and kind of the pH levels and other things that have to do with that. So we passed a bylaw to bring that. It was about 25 years old, the previous bylaw, so that was modernized. Provincial gas tax was announced, and we're getting slightly right around what we got last year. Now, provincial gas tax, as we may have shared in previous years, is tax obviously from the sale of gasoline or at gas stations, but it goes to transit.
Right.
So it's 100%. So this money all goes into our transit funds. We talked about the DDB and the EDC. We talked about passing those. Next week, we established the tax rates for St. Thomas for this coming year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a surprise if you're watching us or been on here where we talked about budgets.
Yeah.
We know that it's a fairly low increase of taxes in St. Thomas, and we will continue to make sure that's the case here in St. Thomas. But that's pretty much what last night was. And as we said, we discussed a number of other things that were going on, like the book signing and some other stuff.
Very good. And then last week's council, were there any items that we should bring up from that?
Was not a council last week. No. This is the first week of June. So we had
Sorry,
gone.
that's right. Yeah.
Right, because we had guests, so we thought we can put guests in. We had the food bank and had a great, thank you all for your great conversation.
So good. Question from Faye Gallagher. Who is in charge of Elgin Mall parking lot? That's Elgin Center now.
Yep.
The pedestrian crossing at main entrance is not wheelchair accessible because high curb on one side.
That would be the center, I would think, unless it's a city sidewalk you're talking about. So try, first of all, as we suggest for all things city, customer service. So customer service at stthomas.ca or dial 519-631-1680 and press 0 and say, sidewalk outside of the Elgin Center, and someone from our great team at customer service will look it up and decide either share with the Elgin Center or something we could fix.
Very good.
Okay.
So transit.
Yes.
How have you heard back on the regional transit?
Yes.
And how it's going?
Well, first of all, it's one of the things that was also on council last night is all the delegations we're going to try and do this August at AMO, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. And one of them is a conversation that involves London, myself, and Elgin County and Middlesex County to talk about maintaining the route between here in London. We had stats come in. We have the first stats for April
Mhm.
And there was more ridership on the London St. Thomas Dorchester run than there is on the other two routes that Middlesex Connects runs.
Wow.
So we're getting very good uptake, it
Yeah.
seems, comparatively. And we really want to see what happens come May
Mhm.
and June's stats on it. So we'll have those shortly, and we'll continue to talk about those with the provincial government, who
Yeah.
is helping fund this, and how we will pass through a pilot project and make it permanent.
Very good. And in terms of homelessness, housing, I know you've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yes?
Are there any more updates on?
As I said, we talked a little bit about
Yeah.
Tiny Hope. We know that's
Mhm.
40 units. We passed the Eastwood
Yes.
one 3 weeks ago at council, and that's 82 units of affordable.
Yeah.
And we have a project right now. We're negotiating with Indwell for one more or two more buildings from a supportive housing point of view. So St. Thomas continues to lead the pack. There's an awful lot of municipalities around us that we're asked to go speak to, and also that are having difficulties with encampments and such.
Yes.
And we have not yet, or we've seemed to have solved that issue in a big way here in St. Thomas. And by adding more supportive housing, we'll keep that way. In Brian Elliott's report on the inn last night, capacity every night still at the inn, so we are not there's not a night where we're not at capacity. But he's also been working very well at creating better
You mean
uses
there's not a night where we are at capacity?
where somebody can't get in.
You
Where
always
there's
have
room.
capacity at the
Always
inn.
room, right?
Yes.
Right. And trying to create better spaces for people who are a bit who aren't attending the inn, who we want to.
And that's
So,
something we've talked about as well.
Yeah,
And I talked
absolutely.
with Brian about it when I had a tour there with Paul Jenkins when we were
Right.
doing the impact awards. Is that they've got different spaces for different people
Yeah.
based on their needs that they're
And
sectioning
creating
off.
more.
Yes.
And creating more of that, so that look, we want the shelter to be an emergency shelter. We really want to get down to where it is just an emergency if you're spending a night at the inn.
Yeah.
And so as we move forward, continue to move forward with supportive housing, that will happen.
Yeah. That's your emergency space. The next day you get moved into housing.
Well, yes, right. And it's amazing. Watch last night's council meeting if you want. I think I'd have to pick the number, but it was huge. How many people from the inn have been housed permanently?
Yeah.
Right. So we know it's the right place for people to be to get that wraparound service of mental health and addiction support and all the other things.
Yeah.
But it's also a great place for our housing people to find you a home.
And you've also got health services in there.
Oh yeah, for sure. CCHC.
CCHC. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They call in, which is just fantastic. But yeah, summer's heating up. The splash pads are now open.
Everything's open that way, and it's summer.
Yeah.
The JC's pool, I think, it's the 1st of June, so we've got to be very close. Must be this weekend or next weekend that the pool opens, and that gives us that 2 months worth of swimming and swimming lessons. And there's lots of other places in town doing private swimming lessons too. So lots going on.
There was a fundraiser that we were at on Friday. It was the 150th anniversary
of the
Queso Station.
Canada Southern Railway Station.
Yeah.
And I like to say that once in a while because nobody knows
No.
what queso means.
You have
right?
no idea because you're like, hey.
Right. You're from here,
Yeah.
you'd know that queso stood for Canada Southern.
Yeah.
But so 150 years, people have been stopping at that beautiful station, now
Incredible.
being brought back to its heyday by a great group of volunteers. And 150 years, that part of our community has been there.
It's just a gorgeous building.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's been restored. So you talked a little bit about that when you did your speech.
In a speech there about how crickety it was when we did take it back.
And how you
started
couldn't
to
have
renovate.
stood where you did your speech because you would have fallen through the floor.
There was a few spots in what is currently the dining room that were quite soggy or able to fall through. Guy my size falls through floors.
Yeah. Oh, and CrossFit. I went to CrossFit
You did
Elgin. They're a big hustle and muscle
Right?
competition on Saturday. It was amazing. The pictures are
We'd
phenomenal.
like to point out that one of us goes to CrossFit and works out.
Yeah.
The other
Mayor Joe
goes
is
to
very-
CrossFit
yeah.
and takes pictures. No, but I saw you did thousands of pictures.
Oh,
and
thousands
some
and
people
thousands.
really working hard. Some of
Yeah.
them are
So this-
friends of mine.
This is Grant Weaver. He's just like, look at this.
Yeah.
This is
I don't look quite that good with my shirt off.
pounds. Yeah. 600 pounds that
He's
man
lifting.
lifted.
Yeah, I know. And I saw some pretty heavy weights that Kevin was lifting, and there were some neat competitions there too. But anyway, it's fun.
Yep.
It's a fun group. And at 7:00 in the morning, it sure wakes me up early.
Oh,
right?
that'll do it. That'll do it. Creators Alley also is open for the DDB. So that's the Nostalgia Nights coming up July 13th.
Yes, if you're a vendor of any type and want
Arts
to
and
be
artisans.
involved, pardon?
Artwork and artisans. And craft, like,
sorry.
crafters.
Not crafters.
No,
okay,
crafters,
they all
yes,
are
crafters,
too.
but like,
Right.
you know, within that scope, we're looking for, we have free booths for you. As long as we get
fill
enough,
as much as we can of our downtown for the 2,000 to 5,000 people that come to look at the Nostalgia Nights and the
Sometimes
old cars,
10,000.
sometimes more. So please, it's good for you, good for your business,
Mm-hmm.
and great for the downtown. So come help us out there too.
Pepper and Parquet, and you can email ddb@stthomas.ca to
Right.
get a spot.
All right. Any other questions since we've?
Yeah, let me see here. We'll just pop over to the question portion. Okay. Great job to everyone involved with the inn, says Scott Noseworthy. Yes,
great.
absolutely. Thank you, Scott. I could picture Adam Montgomery. I could picture Mayor Joe cannonballing into JC's pool.
Yeah.
That would be a good photo op.
In his heyday, I played water polo. So
Yeah.
I did. I was a pretty good swimmer back in the day, right? And
Yep.
Adam Montgomery asked a great question. Any news on getting the Rib Fest back in the future? I'll tell you, they call me. We'll help them through special events and help them do it. There's only a couple of groups that actually run Rib Fest. When I don't know, some 7 years ago, before I was on council, the special events committee decided not to allow Rib Fest to occur at Pinafore Park one year, and we haven't been able to get them back since. But so, Adam, you got connections? I got connections. Let's find out who's supposed to be running. I think the Hillier family did run it for a while. We're sure if we can ask and tell them we'd help work with them. We'll do it. So,
It was great. I was there when it was in Pinafore the last time,
Right.
and it was fantastic.
Yeah, and you're right. It's happening all around us. London still has its Rib Fest, and Woodstock still has its Rib Fest. I know, talking to some of my friends in Ottawa, the Rib Fest is happening there at the same time as it always does. So let's do it. Let's ask and see if we can get it back.
Brett Longfield saying the Canada Southern Railway Station was constructed between June 1871 and April 1873, making 2024 its 151st year. And sometimes what'll happen is, like, you might have an event and it has to be pushed back further due to COVID or other extenuating circumstances.
They did their celebratory opening of the station sometime in 150 years ago.
Yeah, who knows? You have to talk to them. But all I know is it says 150th. That was
So I just go. I say yes. Way to go! Right, 150 years.
At 150 a year or 2 year, you know, it was a great event.
Right. Yes, I asked that night, but nobody could tell me what the first event was like.
Oh, yeah. We are coming up to the end of the show.
Well,
any final
just
pieces?
remember, it's St. Anne's Festival. Get out and support it. All of their money stays with the parish. It does a great job of helping with community events. Almost all of the Lemonade Day on Saturday is a great fundraiser for Family and Children's Services. Go have yourself some lemonade someplace and make it work. Right? Make kids go to camp this summer using that method. Right? Book launch this Saturday for Constable at the library, 11 to 1. So go learn about tracks.
And of course the Horton Market.
Oh yeah, all of the other great stuff that is always happening in our community.
Big Brothers Big Sisters are having an event down at the Trout Farm. And Lily's doing her first day of soccer with St. Thomas Soccer Club. Yep. So
and her uniform shirt is longer than her.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. It's like a balaclava, basically. And then Brett was saying, he was asking what the extenuating circumstances were. And I don't know. For the railway being 150th versus 151st year?
Don't know.
Can't say.
I was invited to 150th celebration, so I went. And I recognized the dates that were when it was first started and when it was finished. But okay. 150 anyway.
It was great. Oh, yeah, hopefully I'll be there for the 300th anniversary.
Well,
if
couple
healthcare
years
really
more.
like,
Yeah, we could,
you know,
it's got to really click in.
we got to get to that level,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us again. Mayor
Right.
Joe, thank you
Thank
for taking
you.
the time each
Yes.
week to do this.
And
Save
next
your
week,
questions.
wait till you
Oh.
hear all the events that are happening the weeks after, whether it's Rosie Rhubarb and a bunch
Yeah.
of other things. So,
Oh, Rosie Rhubarb's this weekend.
oh, there
Also,
you go.
yeah.
So we forgot.
So this is yeah, that's a whole
Yes.
other one.
right. Then
It's
there's
gonna be
more.
An
Right.
amazing event. That's Saturday and Sunday over at the Keystone Complex
Right.
in Shedden.
And you know my love of rhubarb,
Yeah.
and I'm not in.
And you're not
I'm
gonna
not
be
here for it, so. Yeah, I know.
ooh.
I've been known to buy a pie, but
Yeah.
apparently not this year.
Okay, maybe you can get somebody to be a surrogate
Surrogate pie buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
We're over our time. Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Take care. We'll see you next week.